everybody, and welcome to the Everything is Fine, Nothing is Ruined podcast. I'm your host this week, Hassan. Joining me, as always, Tristan.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's me. Hey.
And, folks, we're continuing our journey through everyone's favorite long-running cartoon family and their three troublesome children. That's right, folks.
Yeah.
We are continuing our way through all of the Alvin and the Chipmunk series. This episode, we have now reached 2015's Alvin and the Chipmunks. Tristan, just like we always do, let's hear your favorite and least favorite episode.
Alvin! I like the one where Dave yells at Theodore for eating too much, I think, maybe? Yeah. Is that a thing in that show at all? Is he all about that still? Is he all about being a little fatty?
Alvin? No.
No. I mean, Theodore.
Oh, Theodore. Yes.
Theodore.
No,
Theodore's...
obviously, yes. Theodore is still, you know.
Boy likes food. It's okay.
Their defining traits are very surface level, let's be real.
The cool one, the fat one, and the smart one.
Yeah. Well, and then you also have the Chipettes. Can't forget that.
The cool one, the fat one, and the smart one. I am not wrong.
Yeah. Anyways, let's hear all about the 2015 series.
I assume they sexualize the Chipettes way less than they do in the original 80s series.
I sent you an image of it so that you have a reference point.
No, that looks way more civilized.
Oh no, it looks way worse. They're horrifying looking.
No, fair enough. Yes, I will agree with that. However, I gotta point out how overly sexualized the Chipettes are in the original cartoon from the 80s.
Well, the original is like the 50s or something.
Oh, that one. I mean,
the
that
80s
one. I mean,
is actually a sequel.
Sure, yes.
You should know this. We've been talking about them for however many seasons now.
Have we, though?
Yeah, it's the great Alvin and the Chipmunks rewatch.
I don't think
series.
That's a
Your
thing.
topic.
That's not what we're doing here. Pretty sure.
Tristan, this is...
I don't think that...
13th, 14th time we've been talking about them?
No, it hasn't. Alvin and the Chipmunks is not a thing that I would typically watch. And not that I haven't watched it, just it's not a thing. Yeah.
What? I don't... What do you think we're here to talk about, Tristan?
I mean, there's a plethora of other things. Other cartoon families that we could be talking about. Specifically, one in particular that's like the guy about...
Don't know what you're getting at.
It's the longest running cartoon sitcom of all time.
One Piece?
Skin. Well, would you consider One Piece a sitcom?
It's a comedy. Not a sitcom, but it's a comedy.
Is it a comedy? Is it?
Yeah.
Really? Okay.
Action comedy, but it's definitely
fair
more
enough. Yeah,
comedy. Yeah.
Okay, comedy. Sure.
All right, let's talk about Adventures on the Grand Line. That sounds great.
That's not what we're here to talk about either. Sorry, buddy. I'm probably never gonna watch any more One Piece than I already have, which is mostly just the Fox Kids version.
That's not the worst Fox Kids version of a show. I'll say that.
Gotta go. Luffy. Yeah, what's up?
I don't. What are we talking about?
The Simpsons is on. We are talking today.
Never heard of it.
About the fucking Simpsons. But the freaking there's the kick line and the opening, and that's one of a million couch gag openings that they have done. Almost not wrong.
Nah, never heard of it.
No?
No.
Man, you really gotta get out more, I think. You gotta watch more TV.
Wouldn't that be the opposite? I have to stay in
more
and watch more TV.
You got a phone. You can get outside and watch TV on your phone.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
You're not wrong.
I'm not wrong. Anyway, we're here talking about seasons 27 and 28 of The Simpsons. Greatest cartoon sitcom of all time, I guess. Greatest is also situational. Well, depends on your point of view. There is greatness here. There is greatness.
I guess that's
in
a tough
show.
one.
Yeah.
If you're allowed to just choose a part of it.
Yeah.
But if you have to take the whole.
As a whole, though.
Yeah.
To be fair, it's done something that I think is worth note. It is an extremely noteworthy show.
Absolutely.
In the fact that it's gone on for so long, it is probably still considered the greatest of all time so far.
It's just a shame that season 27 is a 5.17.
Son, are you a fucking psychic?
Oh.
Well, you were extremely close. Extremely
let's hear
close. Season 27 gets a heart-pounding 5.27.
Oh,
You were so close, sir.
So close.
So close. Now,
all right, let's hear about it.
All right, so season 27. Do you recall what I gave season 26? I think
nope.
You don't. It is. Come on,
it's like a 2. I remember it was bad. I don't remember the number.
It is the lowest rated season I've given it this so far in this whole project. It's 2.72 was season 26. So imagine how much better season 27 must be to get to a 5.
Sure, that's still not a good score.
It's not great, but it rises. Like, that's the thing. There is cream here. It's not rancid, unlike season 26. Do you want to hear about the best first or the worst first? I think we should go best, worst, best.
Yeah, let's hear about best, since this, we're on an upswing apparently.
Yeah. Well, here's a fun little thing. I've actually already talked about this episode back in October 31st ish. I can't remember if that was the case. When we did our Halloween extravaganza, Simpsons. I watched all of the Simpsons Halloween episodes, Trace of Horrors, and did a review of all that, which started this thing. This comes sort of almost kind of full circle. Because...
Is that to say it's a Treehouse of Horrors is your favorite episode?
Absolutely not.
Oh. Okay.
Because if you recall, in that episode, almost a year ago, my favorite episode of the horror Halloween stuff that the Simpsons have done is season 27, episode 4, Halloween of Horrors, 9 out of 10.
What? Okay.
Yeah.
What do you think Halloween of Horror is supposed to be a parody of? Because it just sounds like a Halloween thing.
Yeah, it is.
How am I supposed to guess what that is an allusion or reference to?
I'm not sure.
It's a terrible name. Anyways, let's hear about the episode.
So first things first, it is a reference to Halloween. Just the general. It is about Halloween this time, as opposed to Trace of Horrors, which is it's Halloween adjacent. Sometimes it's about Halloween, sometimes not. But there's scary stories. This one is actually a scary story, and in fact, this one references several Halloween movies, like the movies themselves. And case in point, the one it references is the most unsung hero of the Halloween franchise, which is Halloween 3, Season of the Witch, in which you have multiple people dressed up doing murders, as opposed to and there's no Michael Myers to be found. Yeah, that one was a fascinating take. It's a good movie. I stand by that one, because after that the franchise goes fucking downhill. Kind of like The Simpsons. So, Halloween of Horrors, if nobody remembers, it is about... it's an episode where Homer and the Simpsons are like big Halloween freaks. He makes Halloweenville or Halloween Town, and like he turns his entire house into this beautiful rendition of Halloween. And basically, the one thing they don't want to be is like the people across the street who skip Halloween. They turn the lights off, no candy for the neighbors, kind of thing. How fucking dare they? So, Homer, needing more equipment for his Halloween Town extravaganza, goes out to a season of what's it called now? Spirit Halloween store.
Spirit
basically.
Halloween.
Which Apu is running as a pop-up. And he has, like, pop-up employees. How? Don't worry about it.
In the Quickie Mart?
No. His own different store, yeah.
Okay, that's why I was like, we see the Quickie Mart. It is a small building.
It's not very big, no. So we have that happening where Apu is running this pop-up store where he has temporary employees. They are pop-up employees, he refers to them as. And Homer gets them in trouble because they offered to load up a display for him, like on the cheap. But the money's got to go to them. And Homer mentions this to Apu just because he thinks that they're just being good employees. Yeah, it is. But he mentions it to Apu because he thinks they're just being good employees and giving him a hand and a bit of a discount. And he's like, these are great guys. You should keep hiring them, all this stuff. And it turns out they're stealing, and Apu fires them and gets them fired. And now they have to go and try and find new jobs. So they blame Homer for that and instead decide they want to go and kill him. Meanwhile, it's 3 employees, by the way. Meanwhile, later that night, Homer is taking Bart and Lisa to a Itchy and Scratchy... Is it Krusty? I can't remember if it's Krusty or Scratchy. One of the two. Based, like, Halloween, like, theme park sort of thing that pops up as well. You know, the ones. And it's Lisa's first time going. And Bart's been a couple times, and he loves it. But this turns out to be like Lisa's, like this really freaks Lisa out. So she, like, is not having it. She's put on baby alert, where like, they shut the park down for her and get her out because she's ruining the fun because she thinks it's all real, and so
I don't. Yeah, that doesn't sound like a thing parks do.
It isn't. No, it's not.
Okay.
Yeah, it's, again, this is an exaggeration of what this is. And so, like, Lisa now is afraid of everything Halloween. She's traumatized. And Homer is forced to take down Halloween Town and become a skipper for his daughter, which he does.
Couldn't they just have, like... Well, I guess he would have it up for more. I was about to say, couldn't he just have her sleep over at, a friend's house? But I guess it would be more than the one night the decorations would be up. So that's fair.
Exactly. So to alleviate Bart's problems with Lisa and all this stuff, Marge decides to take him to, like, the rich neighborhood where they have, like, a Halloween party happening. But they can't... It's a rich neighborhood. They have a security guard who is on the lookout for people trying to crash the party. And so he turns them around, and there's a robot that, like, will say your name back to you, and even will, like, say swears and stuff, and Bart's missing out. Later on, they encounter the rest of Springfield post 9 o'clock. When the adults come out in, like, weird, fucked up, sexy Halloween costumes.
Which adults are wearing sexy Halloween costumes?
All of them.
Oh,
it's a whole parody of, like, I
want to see, like, Moe and Barney or Chief Wiggum in sexy Halloween costumes.
Well, now you will if you watch this episode. This is why it's not a 10. It's because this is a low point, even though they do, like, a Rocky Horror Picture Show parody, which is. It's an okay parody. It's an okay parody song. It's of course, it's, Time Warp. But, like...
yeah, what else are you gonna do?
Touch Me?
Nothing is as iconic as Time Warp from that.
That's
movie.
true. Yeah, that's true. There's Meatloaf's song. No. He dies. Like
Don't get me wrong. There's other good songs. Yeah. It's just in terms of public mind share, it's Time Warp by a massive margin.
Yeah, it is. Time Warp is the best song from that movie, hands down. Anyway, so they do the Time Warp parody, this kind of stuff. Meanwhile, Homer is at home with Lisa, who has reverted back to like an old childhood toy from like when she was like 3 or 4, named that she refers to as Taily, which is just like the tail of like a stuffed animal that she kept around. You know, security blanket stuff. And during this night, the 3 pop-up employees home invade like the Simpsons home, and try and kill Homer and Lisa like legitimate. Like and they hide in the attic, and Lisa is forced to face her fears of Halloween, and they use decorations to like try and gain awareness towards the house, so the employees get found out, and then the sexy Halloween goers show up, and like Wiggum among them arrests the employees, and it's a whole thing, and it just kind of ends with Lisa just enjoying Halloween again. It is a basic episode in that sense, but it's so well executed, and it's coming out of an era of The Simpsons that does not deserve to have this good of an episode in it. Now,
and yet you watched it all, huh?
Yeah. We'll discuss a thing that comes up in season 28 when we get there in a second, but keep the fact that I watched all of it in mind.
Great.
So yeah, that's the best episode of season 27. It's really good. I think that, bar anything else, people should watch this one because, like, not because it's just a good episode, but this begins the experimental phase of The Simpsons, because after this point, they start dipping their toe a little more in the water and seeing what they can do with The Simpsons as a format and what they can do.
Pornography.
I mean, that's been done, but not officially with Simpsons.
Oh, that's definitely been done well before this season.
Oh yeah, in the 90s for sure.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, it doesn't matter because, like I said, this is their chance to dip their toes into something more experimental, something a little bit different from what the Simpsons would normally do, especially in the last 15 years. Keep that in mind as we go further into this project.
Let's hear the worst episode then.
Okay, so the worst episode of season 27. Season 27, episode 15, Lisa the Veterinarian. So, it is as it sounds. It's right there in the tin. Lisa becomes a veterinarian's assistant. She's so good at taking care of the class hamster that she, wants to go and treat more animals and basically becomes a veterinarian's assistant. And she is just essentially a veterinarian herself. It's a whole thing. She's got to learn how to deal with the life and death of animals as well as taking care of them. It's pretty basic. 3 out of 10. There's a side plot where Marge is a crime scene cleaner. Like, they can't get anybody to clean crime scenes anymore because they're just too violent. And so Marge becomes the cleaner because she's really fucking good at cleaning. And yeah.
That I realize The Simpsons has had plenty of murder scenes.
It has, yes.
There's something about the concept of murder scene cleaner that just feels too real, too visceral.
Yeah.
Or a Simpsons gag B plot. It's like, no,
yeah.
that... Like, oh, she's having to clean up blood from a stab wound. Like, oh.
Yep. Exactly. These are two plots that kind of go in opposite directions. They never intersect. Marge's whole thing is that she loves cleaning, but then finds that if she turns cleaning into a job, she hates it. And Lisa starts finding that the thing she actually loves with helping animals is the adrenaline rush, like the dopamine hits, basically.
I'm sorry, what?
Yeah, she gets like an adrenaline rush / dopamine hit from helping animals, and that's what she likes about it, not the actual helping.
I'm sorry, what kind of help is she doing that it's causing a dopamine rush?
Like, all of it. Like, she's just basically a full-on veterinarian, and she finds this, like, exhilarating.
I'm pretty sure most of what a vet does, much like a doctor, unless you're an emergency room doctor, is fairly routine, boring stuff.
Yeah. But she's, like, it doesn't show the routine, boring stuff. It shows her, like, curing animals and, like, working on... Yeah. Like, it shows, like, the stuff that you would want to see in a dramatized version of a veteran's life.
It's basically like a cop show version of it, or the firefighter show, or the hospital show. No, I get it.
Okay. Yeah, exactly. Right. So like it's like that. Obviously, in real life, it wouldn't be that exciting.
It was
it's still
animal
a job.
lupus.
Animal lupus. Veterinarian house. Excellent. He's my favorite allegory of Sherlock Holmes. Anyway. Yeah, that's...
It'd be a mouse, but not because it rhymes with house, but because Hugh Laurie was in Stuart Little.
Nice. Yeah, that makes sense. I'm into that.
What?
We should do more Stuart Little.
No. Stuart Little sucked.
It didn't.
They did a cartoon TV show?
They did. Maybe I'll review that next.
What? No, what's wrong with you?
Something, I don't know. Well, that's it for the worst episode of this season. Like I said, 3 out of 10. It could be worse. What's the episode you want to talk about?
I'm looking at the Stuart Little cartoon, and the parents look fine. The kids, horrifying. The episode I want to talk about, and honestly, I don't really care about the plot of the episode. It's episode 2, Q Detective, and it's because I don't understand this list of guest stars. It is Alton Brown, who is for anyone who doesn't know, host of various Food Network shows.
Yep.
I feel so about him, whatever.
He's all right.
Bobby Moynihan, who I do like quite a bit. Great voice actor.
Yeah.
Edward James Olmos.
Oh, yeah.
And then Ben Schwartz.
Yep.
And I don't understand this list of 4 at all. Because I could see, okay, we wrote this bit specifically wanting Alton Brown or someone along those lines, someone from the Food Network. But then you add in, like, there's no way they specifically wrote a bit for Bobby Moynihan. So I guess maybe that was just a random character and they happened to be able to get him or whatever.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I assume. I'm going to point out, first off, 5 out of 10. We are in the era of The Simpsons in which, like I said, we're starting to experiment with stuff. We are still in the era of just throwing fucking guest stars in an episode and hoping it's the best thing ever.
But none of those guest stars draw people in, with all due respect to all of them. But, Alton Brown is basically a C-tier celebrity, maybe even D-tier.
D-tier.
Like, I'm not trying to be rude, but the guy is just
a celeb chef.
Host of... He's not even a chef. He's just a host. Like, he can cook, but he's not a chef. Bobby Moynihan, again, I really like him, but he is not a name. Ben Schwartz, definitely a name at that time. You'd be coming off of Parks and Rec, but I still wouldn't call him a big name.
No, I mean, like...
And Edward James Olmos is one of those people that I think if you, outside of, say, some like niche fandoms like Battlestar Galactica,
Yeah.
if you were to ask the average person, oh, do you know who Edward James Olmos is? They go, what? No. And maybe you showed them a picture. They go, oh, that guy. Yeah, I guess they never knew his name.
Commander what's his fuck.
And so it's just this weird of like, what? Okay, if you're going to have celebrities, that, like, looking at some of these others, the episode before, episode 1, Adam Driver, Lena Dunham,
Yep.
Laura Ingraham.
Yep.
I don't recognize the other 3 names, Jemima Kirk, Josiah Mamet, and Allison Williams, but those first 3, those are big names. The episode that the Halloween of Horror, Blake Anderson and Nick Kroll.
Yep.
I look through Kristen Bell, David Copperfield. These are all big name draws.
Yeah.
This one, it's just like, 4 completely random people who aren't necessarily like big names. It's like, what?
Yeah.
What happened? I would love to know what happened there. Because again, Alton Brown, I could see his bit being written from the beginning. But it's like Bobby Moynihan and Edward James Olmos, definitely not. That's just way too random. Ben Schwartz, maybe. Because again, you're coming off of Parks and Rec. You could see, he's big enough, sure. But it's just like all 4 of them together in one episode. What happened there in the writer's room and the casting and that? Like,
yeah, exactly. It's honestly the guest star appearances in this episode are basically skippable. It doesn't matter. Perfectly honest, they don't really play much of a role in the episode anyway. This is a Simpsons guest star in like the more. I don't want to say classic as in terms of referencing back to like previous, like the early seasons classic, but this is like what they're known for now, is like this style of guest star that has no fucking reason of being there. They just are there because they want to be in an episode of The Simpsons, and they said yes, and that's it.
Yeah, I mean, that's fine. I'm not offended by it. It's just very confusing when I saw those 4 together.
It is.
That's all I really have to say.
Episode's about finding a missing barbecue, by the way.
Sure, I don't care.
Yeah, just to mention the plot line. But yeah, that's season 27. Like I said, this one is kind of worth a watch. There are some other like diamonds in the rough here, but it is mostly rough. Like the only other good episodes I would say are like How Lisa Got Her Marge Back and Supervised and Orange is the New Yellow. Those 3 are worth a watch. They're 7s and 8s. So, yeah. Orange is the New Yellow is actually a pretty good gag where Marge does hard time. And like she swiftly realizes she likes being in prison more than being at home, so tries to keep herself in prison. So it's a pretty good episode, pretty funny, pretty evident, yeah. Yeah. So otherwise, not a lot of great episodes in this season, but like we're hitting par and above, which is better than just vile hatred from the previous season. Now. Season 28. Season 28 is an interesting one. Do you want to guess what I gave season 28?
I think because you were saying the start of it being experimental.
Yeah.
I think even though it could potentially be a worse season, the experimentation will count for more.
Yes.
Not for much.
X Factor, baby. X Factor.
5.40.
Nope. Too high, actually.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
The season is not as good. Okay. The season is not as good as season 27. Makes up for it for, like you said, experimentation. You are correct. But but ultimately it falls pretty fucking flat on every other episode. Season 28 gets a rollicking 4.95, just below par. Just below. So, yeah.
Okay.
So, I'll mention something in a bit here, but like I said, still some experimentation. You want the worst one first, right?
Yeah.
Okay, that's actually a good thing, because the worst one I have very little to say about. And the best one I have a lot more to say about. So, the worst one is Season 28, Episode 2, Friends and Family, with a 3 out of 10.
Okay.
Yeah.
What makes it so bad? Let's hear it.
So, oh god, okay. First things first, they've already fucking done this episode, kind of, in multiple contexts. So, Mr. Burns hires the Simpsons to be his family. He wants a family, so he hires them out to be that. He has already, at multiple points, adopted Bart and Maggie, as well as at a certain point, the Simpsons have lived at his place 2 to 3 times. I think it's 2, actually.
He has a son.
No, yeah.
Right?
Yeah, he does. That's, yeah.
For like the train episode.
Mm-hmm.
I remember something about that.
Yeah, there's an episode where basically, him and Homer fake his son's kidnapping, so Mr. Burns
Yes.
cares about him, and they show that artist rendition of Homer getting gunned down by several police.
So did they just forget that?
Oh yeah,
he has
absolutely
can have a family.
They do not care in the slightest. As much as they love referencing The Simpsons, they don't give a shit about the actual things they could reference here and bring back some lost ideas. Now, here's the problem with this. That character, I can't remember his name. Maybe it was something like Seymour. I can't remember his name.
I don't remember.
It doesn't matter. He was played by Rodney Dangerfield.
Yes.
By this point in time, Rodney Dangerfield
is passed. Yeah.
Yeah, quite dead. So I guess there's a reason
All right.
there.
So, yeah, I can see.
But
why
hey, just saying one thing. You just do a good impression of the character. You just gotta say, you got no respect for him. Rodney Dangerfield is not hard to do an impression of. I gotta say,
definitely get an impersonator.
Thousands of people have done it. I could do a shitty version of Rodney Dangerfield. I'm sure you can get someone actually good at it. Anyway, they don't do that. What actually here? It goes even fucking weirder. So they initially have, they have tryouts for the family that's going to be Mr. Burns' family. And again, he picks the Simpsons, who he has multiple contentions with. We know from literally the Who Shot Mr. Burns double feature episodes that in the first part of that arc, Mr. Burns knows the Simpson family 100%. He recognizes each and every one of them, especially now Maggie Simpson, for obvious reasons.
No.
Yeah. So, in this episode, he seems to just not care. Doesn't just whatever. It doesn't matter. And he just does not recognize the Simpsons as anything but a random family of a man who works at his power plant. Him forgetting Homer Simpson, that's canon. We know that 100%. Always happened until about season, I don't know, 14, 15 maybe. Anyway, we have the Simpsons move into his place, but Mr. Burns doesn't want a physical family because he's also addicted to VR. So what he wants is to wear a VR headset which for them projects the family into the headset, and he can pretend that the Simpsons are his family. Which complicates the whole thing. I don't know why they chose the VR route. It kind of works. It makes it, I guess, more interesting, but only a skosh. So yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this episode came out 2016.
Yes.
Because I had to look it up. The Oculus Rift came out in 2013.
Yes.
So we're 3 years into VR being a real thing, and no one was addicted to it. No one is addicted to it now.
No.
Because it's just not that good. So it's sort of a weird...
Yeah, this episode is just
part.
Futurist garbage bullshittery. It's just being spewed out. I can't remember the guy's name. There's a Canadian futurist who like expounds on like the technology. I think his name is something Holmes.
No
doesn't matter. He was in an episode of Blown Away, glass blowing competition show on Netflix. Whatever. And so he explains a bunch of bullshit, on Twitter about like how like the future of robots and AI and all this stuff. He's very wrong about all this shit because he's also a businessman. So you know.
Okay. Sure.
Yeah. Anyway, this sounds like that guy's just nannering about technology bullshit. That like this is the level of like, what if technology is gonna change our lives, man? Kind of stuff from like the Elon Musk episode a couple seasons back.
Forgot that happened.
Lest we forget. Lest we forget.
I don't think that's what that phrase is meant to be used for.
It is now. Lest we forget the Elon Musk episode of The Simpsons. Oof. Oh, how they tried to sit on the fence. Yeah. Anyway.
Anyways, anything more you want to say?
Oh
about
yeah.
this
There's a little more. Okay. There's actually a little more. So the B plot, because Homer is out of the picture because Burns wants to be the father of the family, so he doesn't need a father there. So he fires Homer from like the VR project, and Homer just has like infinite free time off at night, and so he just meets the neighbor that lives behind their house for the first time, and her name is Julia, and she's like kind of a cool person, and the side plot is that she's just cool and they hang out in like a non-romantic way, and eventually like Marge gets wind of this and thinks it's romantic and thinks Homer is having an affair, but then they kind of assure her that's not, and they're just being friends, and Marge is just okay with it, and that ends the B plot. It fucking goes nowhere. Literally, it's basically like coffee shop AU shit for The Simpsons. Yeah, buddy. Yeah. Now, there's anything wrong with that.
Said that.
If you like that, by the way, if you like that stuff, that's fine. I don't care. I don't like it myself, but that's fine. Anyway, that's the worst episode of the season.
Okay, let's hear about the best one.
Experimentations time. So, the best one is season 28, episode 12. Technically, it's episode 12 and 13. It's a two-parter. But, it's kind of just, if you watch it now, it's all just blended into one. This will come up later on in another episode too. Episode 12, season 28, The Great Fatsby. Number 1 and 2.
Can't imagine what that one's referencing.
What? No. What would it reference? T.S. Eliot poem?
I was thinking it was probably referencing like Digimon.
Oh, which Digimon?
Fatsby-mon. I mean, you just
absolutely
at the end of anything, and it's a Digimon.
I guess you're not wrong. So The Great Fatsby. So, take a wild guess what this is about, Hassan.
I'm gonna guess it's a Great Gatsby parody using
What?
Mr. Burns.
What? Whoa! Nailed it in one. Yeah. So Mr. Burns, like the previous episode we just talked about, is sick of being misloved and seen as like this horrible miser. So he wants to throw the biggest shindig of Springfield's life, and he tries to do so. But he is an old, stupid old man. And he's so old that he basically thinks that, his old ways are the ways of the future. And he basically throws a party for old people where they could be old and that kind of stuff. Did I mention he's old?
To be fair, he's old enough, though, that an old-timey party comes back around to be fun. Because you're talking like...
I would agree with that.
1880s, where he'd just be like, Smithers, make sure there's plenty of opium out for the young folks.
Yeah, see that?
Like,
yeah.
oh.
But then we go, of course, the 20s, which is when, The Great Gatsby is technically set.
Oh, yeah, okay. Makes more sense.
Flappers and stuff like that.
Sure.
Yeah. So we have the exact same setting. The Great Gatsby references are off the chart, obviously, because it's the Great Gatsby parody. And the way this ends up working, so instead of meaning it's like a different rich socialite, a guy shows up to his party named JG. JG is a parody of...
I don't... Look, if you think I remember much of The Great Gatsby, you're off your rocker.
Jay-Z. Parody of Jay-Z. So they replace... Yeah, exactly. They replace the socialite with a rich hip-hop artist. And then basically, like, he teaches Burns how to live.
So they couldn't get Jay-Z, then, is what I'm taking away from this.
No, but they got Magic Johnson. Or Charles Barkley, Charles Barkley.
Charles Barkley. And the RZA. And Snoop Dogg. Yes. So they got big rappers. So I don't know why. Like, okay, why wouldn't you have just, instead of making it JG, you could have just made it
Jay-Z.
The RZA.
Or the RZA. Well, the RZA wouldn't be the rich... Like super rich though. I mean, I'm sure he is, but he's not like Jay-Z rich,
Oh no, but I'm pretty sure Jay-Z is a billionaire, so there are not many people at that level. Period.
No, period. Exactly. But like that's why it would work. Anyway, so JG shows up, and basically it's him, Mr. Burns, and Homer hanging out. I don't know why Homer is here. He's kind of just Mr. Burns' lackey the entire time. Like, Smithers is just relegated to backroom fodder. Regardless, it's a fun episode in which they do a pretty straightforward parody of The Great Gatsby. And this came in at a point where we weren't so sick of Great Gatsby stuff. Which I know is weird for me to say because there's not like a ton of it, but The Great Gatsby has been like in the ether since about like 2019, I'd say.
2013 was that Leonardo DiCaprio film, so it
was
post that.
It is, yep. But like post that, for some reason, The Great Gatsby has been mentioned a lot more in like the last 5 years.
Late stage capitalism, right?
Yeah, exactly. Like, oh, we should, like, somebody should, like, it's been said often enough, like, oh, this person clearly has not read The Great Gatsby, that kind of thing. So, exactly.
Usually that's said by people who haven't read it themselves.
Typically, yes. No, to point out, The Great Gatsby is not a celebration of late stage capitalism. It is essentially kind of a telling of, how can I put this? Kind of a telling of a Christmas Carol in a way, but shortened and condensed. And from like, there's not like three ghosts. There's just, I'm a sad old man. What will I do with my life? I'll throw a party that didn't solve shit. I should do this instead. 4
ghosts, thank you.
Yeah, Marley, it's true. Yeah.
Technically
5 for the
like
Muppets.
Yeah, the Muppets version.
Marley and Marley.
Yeah.
Or Marley and Marley. Yeah. That's all you're getting into that, because YouTube. Anyway, so it's a Great Gatsby parody. It's fun. There's a lot of dumb jokes. It's just a good... Again, this is the first time they've done this kind of a two-parter outside of Who Shot Mr. Burns, and the Who Shot Mr. Burns episodes was experimental and fun back in its day, and this is kind of them a bit reaching for that experimentation again and trying to do a two-parter. This one is good, but there is a different one later on that we may or may not talk about that definitely exceeds this one's expectations. So 8 out of 10, like I said, fun episode. Give it a watch. I like it. Now, what is your episode you want to discuss?
So the episode I want to discuss is episode 6, There Will Be Buds.
Oh, okay.
And the reason I want to discuss it is reading the summary on Wikipedia, as far as I can tell, this sort of continues this idea of a sort of redemption of Kirk Van Houten. And I don't get it. This, as well as last episode when we talked about the comic book guy one, I don't understand why characters who are I don't want to say inherently bad people or anything like that, but characters who are written in such a way that they have very few redeeming qualities, and we are continuously shown the negative aspects of them. Why these are the characters that the writers seem to want to choose to redeem and give sort of a quality life to, when there are plenty of other characters that we have seen the positive aspects to them, like Barney.
Yeah.
It's like, that is a character we know there is depth to, that you could have that redemption to.
Yeah.
And people would want to cheer for them and latch onto them.
Yep.
Whereas nobody wants to cheer for Kirk.
No, which I think is why they did this.
I guess, but they already did that with Comic Book Guy.
Yeah.
And so it's just weird. Why are we choosing these characters? Choose Nelson. Nelson Muntz has, an actual heart under it all.
Yes.
We've seen time and again, the reason he's a bully, the reason he is who he is because he comes from this broken home, and he is a kid who is having difficulty processing it. But instead, you're choosing Kirk and Comic Book Guy, and I'm sure there's somebody else we'll come across that fits into this same mold.
Let me just say that in season 34, you get your wish on that, by the way. Nelson.
Which one?
Nelson.
Okay, sure.
Yeah. You get a thing. It's actually pretty fucking good. But here's the thing. So I think this is them reaching out and trying to find like the little bits of positivity they can squeeze out of characters like Kirk Van Houten or Barney or whoever or Comic Book Guy. Comic Book Guy 1 is just like, they gave him a waifu and basically and got him married.
They literally gave him a waifu.
Yeah,
it's like a 4chan writer decided that. And I'm not complaining that they're trying not to have characters that the only thing they do with them is punch down. That's fine. But just...
Yeah.
Why do you keep choosing the characters?
So...
Again, is there a 4chan person on the writing staff? Is that why these characters they're choosing instead of the other ones?
I mean, perhaps, but so I think that this is my take. I think that around this time, so they're getting more and more compared to Family Guy, and more people are like, "Ooh, Family Guy," and also "Ooh, Simpsons." And this is them trying to pull that ripcord to be like, oh, no, hold on. No, we have positive things to say about people too. as opposed to the Family Guy where they mostly are very negative. Especially with the Meg Griffin thing. So
that's fair.
Yeah. So they're kind of like, oh shit, pull that cord, hit the parachute, stop. Because this is around that era, I feel, where they're trying to distance themselves from that, and it's not that they're trying to be better, but like just trying to be different. Yeah. So There Will Be Buds is, man, that is an interesting one that you chose, because it is actually. So I gave it a 7 out of 10.
That's too high for an episode that revolves around.
Well, here's it's Canada's national sport, Hassan.
Yeah, but this is America, where it's only played by New England private school yuppies. Yeah. So
yeah, I know. Now, with that said, Kirk does pay a lot of lip service to Canada because they do mention how many like lacrosse players are Canadian. And how good Canadians are at lacrosse.
Look, I'll take their word at it. I could not tell you a single one.
Same.
It might be our national sport, but nobody watches
cares. It. Yeah, it's sad. I wish at some point lacrosse got its
somehow due. The CFL is bigger than it.
I don't get this. CFL is dumb. Anyway,
Grey Cup is older than the Super Bowl. Okay,
it is. Yes, I know. So they're both actually. I like the CFL and the NFL enough. It's just I don't know. The way they do things is pretty stupid. It doesn't matter. I don't want to get in the politics of fucking sports, because this is a decent episode of Kirk being a huge loser and Homer having to put up with him, but kind of learning that Kirk is an okay guy, but just okay.
Yeah, the
just okay enough. Fine. Yeah, it's a good plot. It's a fun episode. But yeah, you're right. It is kind of trying to redeem Kirk Van Houten in a way that he doesn't.
He got back with his wife, all those things. I don't get it. There's so many other characters you could.
I agree. The so I'll put this out there. Also in I think season 34 or 33, I can't remember which one. Someone agrees with you further on the Kirk thing. And they pull that ripcord eventually as well.
Murder.
No, later on, Kirk goes full on like fascist.
Yeah, it's not surprising.
Like full on NIMBY fascist.
Oh yeah, I believe Kirk would vote Republican.
Oh yeah, like a Trumper basically. Yeah, it's great. So
more like a JD Vancer. Let's be real.
Like a JD Vancer, yeah. Actually, yes, like a JD Vancer. Yes, you're right. No, with that said, JD Vance wasn't really necessarily a thing at the point where, he was, but he wasn't.
He was. No, he definitely would have been.
Oh, yeah.
Hillbilly Elegy thing was his, and that definitely would have been big around this time.
This is true. But I mean, like, back when they wrote that episode, that the reference when Kurt goes full fascist.
Yeah, I see what you mean. Yeah. It was the name that he is now.
Yeah, that's more of a Trump thing for sure.
Yeah.
But I digress. So... Yeah, this episode is still fun. I agree. Kirk Van Houten, why? It's
I don't know.
The way they use him later on is good though, I will say. They start doing things where like the Van Houtens are just kind of a shitty family. And not in this the fact that because they fight and get divorced all the time and split up and whatever. But like they are bad people. We have to explore that way later on in the series. Yeah. So yeah,
okay.
that's your episode. I gotta point out.
And sorry, go ahead.
One more thing.
Okay.
So Trees of Horrors 33. No, sorry, not 33. Trees of Horrors 27. They do a thing, and there's a quote they have in one of the segments, which is where Frank Grimes comes back, and so do all the like past jokes and Trios of Horrors and all this stuff. And there's a quote that almost made me stop watching and stop doing this project, and I'm glad I pushed past it, I think. But the quote is, "In hell, they make you watch them all in a row." Referencing its own show and how long it's been going on.
Whoa.
At season 28.
Isn't it funny how much we suck?
Yeah. And I was like, you're not allowed. How fucking dare you say that? Like, it's fine if you want to bring up, like, wow, we're kind of like a long-running show. Woo, I know. But how dare you recognize how stinky your fucking show is? How dare you even barely recognize the fact that this is a slog at this point, that the golden years are long gone, and we are now just wading through the muck, trying to get to the end. How dare this show look at me like this and be like, fuck you. You've caused your own personal hell. And I recognize that. I don't need vindication though. I don't need anybody saying that is the case. So screw you, Simpsons. Season 28, episode 4, Trios of Horrors 27.
Well, at least you'll never
4
have
out of
to watch
10.
it in your life. Ooh.
Yeah, that's not a good one. No, I mean, well, yeah. Once this is done, there's still more to go. Also, I mean, there's a new season coming out this year, so like I might as well. I got this far.
Sure.
At least that is just one episode a week. It can't.
Whatever you have to tell yourself, junkie.
I'm not a junkie. I'm an addict.
Okay, yeah, sure.
No, I'm a junkie. I'm trying to. Yeah. See, addicts can be helped.
Yeah, you're junkie mon.
Junkie mon. Yeah. Anyway, yeah, that's The Simpsons, season 27, 28. What a man! 2 seasons that are just, it falls so hard into like the realm of mediocrity, with a few good little bits here or there, and like the bad episodes are still kind of worth watching because of how strange they are. Just because like these are at least interesting concepts in some way. And yeah, we do have a few good episodes like in season 20 as well, like There Will Be Buds, which is, like I said, 7 out of 10. Or yeah, Camp Krusty, or when they go back to Camp Krusty, which is I didn't expect to like that one as much as I did. It's a full on just trying to like approach the trauma of Camp Krusty that happened to the kids. It's yeah, there's more happening than meets the eye. But we are still in that era of like half the writing staff just doesn't give a shit and is just doing whatever the executives tell them to, and just slapping celebrity guests into the episode. And the other half is like, no, there's still a good show here. We just need to breathe life into it and show them that episodes like, Halloween of Horrors or like The Great Gatsby are the future of this series, and not the fucking played out bullshit that we've been doing for the last 12 years. We have a good show. You just gotta let us cook, man.
Nah, feed it to me raw.
Well,
that way I can die of food poisoning.
Well, if it's any consolation,
I don't have to eat anymore.
Yeah, if it's any consolation, that's kind of what the executives decided to do for the next few seasons. So
shocking.
Raw it is, dog.
Yay.
Raw it is.
All right. Well, on that note, why don't you tell people where to find us?
I can do that. You just go to our Twitter. It's still Twitter. Fuck you, Elon Musk. At Which he agreed. He wrote Twitter recently. He said, go to Twitter.
He's an idiot.
Go to our fucking Twitter and tell Elon Musk go fuck himself. From our Twitter account. Tag us in that too.
Sure, yeah. Worst you can do, suspend us? Oh no.
Oh God, oh geez, not that, I don't want to be suspended by fucking Elon Musk, oh geez. Yeah, go to our, it's at EIFNIR, EIFNIR. Leave us your comments about how much you love The Simpsons seasons 28 and 27. I would like to discuss Halloween of Horror with people. However, I don't want to discuss it that deeply, and if you get any sort of lippy with me, I will just block you. Reserve that right. You should also go to our Spotify and iTunes pages, leave reviews, like and subscribe to the YouTube channel, I guess. Mostly just tell your friends about our show, though. If your friends like itching for like a fun review of The Simpsons, maybe give them something else besides this show. But if he's looking for some pain and suffering, give him this show. There's no fun here. There's no fun anywhere. I'm not allowed
that's our slogan.
Things. As we I'm gonna keep changing the slogan every like few years. So yeah, I guess the new slogan is "There's no fun anywhere." Everything is fine, nothing is ruined. There's no fun anywhere. I love it. That's going up. It could be our first shirt. Anyway. Go to our friends, so it's DJDane.com. This guy does some music, DJDane.com. Go there, listen to his great tunes, and just like, man, if you want to like just talk to him about like how much you love Rocky Horror Picture Show, he'd be like, yeah, why are you talking to me?
I assume he just like, yeah, no, let's talk about it. It's great.
Yeah. Good musical. I'm not sure if he likes
Yes.
it or not. It's a very good musical.
He's gonna like it now.
Yeah. He is. I've never been to a live viewing of the movie though. I want to go to one of those just so I can just get that audience participation.
Yeah, I haven't been to a live viewing. I've seen it at the theater stage, Neptune.
Okay.
Last year, 2 years ago, something like that.
Was the audience also allowed to participate?
Yeah.
Excellent.
Encouraged. Yeah, it was great.
Oh, excellent. Good. Because like for anybody who doesn't know, if you go to a live viewing of the Rocky Horror Picture Show, stage or movie, I guess, hopefully other stages will do this too, there are certain things you should shout at the screen. Like you gotta call Janet slut. You gotta like when the philosopher comes up, you gotta yell boring. Stuff like that. It's just it's so good, so good. Anyway, that's it for our show. Tune in next time for another Lent episode of Everything is Finally Is Ruined. See ya.
See ya.
Say it.